Hey, everybody, we're back. Welcome to another episode of the Full Count Podcast, Bobby Bonilla Day. And for those that don't know what that means, let us explain. So in 1999, the Mets, they cut Bobby Bonilla from the team. He had 1 year remaining on his contract. Instead of the Mets paying him that $5.9 million that he was owed, they came to an agreement, which was a genius agreement by his agent, by the way,
Yeah.
to spread these payments out through deferred payments that earned interest. So that 5.9 million ended up being close to 30 million in payouts. So the way it worked is starting in 2011, Bobby Bonilla was set to receive 1.19 million on every July 1st until 2035. So I think he's going to be 72 when he gets his last payment. And he still has 10 more years to go. I was telling Andrew earlier, this is another example of how the Mets always find a way to fuck things up. Everything they do turns to shit, and this is just another example that goes back, 25 years. We can name 1,000 more things that the Mets have done recently, but that one will always stick in our minds for baseball fans, Mets fans especially. But we could talk about, Angie, I'll let you take over, the genius it took for an agent when deferred payments were unheard of 25 years ago.
Right, because we've heard of it now with Shohei Ohtani and some other players, but when it comes to 25 years ago, I mean, I think the sports agent's name was Dennis Gilbert, or is Dennis Gilbert, and that guy is an incredible businessman considering, like you just said, it was unheard of. So this was a genius move by him. I think Bobby is absolutely, obviously he's thrilled. I've seen some videos of him where he's getting interviewed and he still has a grin on his face because he knows he's getting paid way more than he probably should. But whatever it is, that case, because you said 5.9 million is essentially what the payout was, right? Back in the day.
Yeah, they could have just cut ties with him, paid him that check of 5.9 million, and just gone on in their separate ways.
Yeah, that's where I'm thinking. Like, was the owners of the Mets? Obviously, you need to know baseball to be an owner of baseball, but if you don't have the business acumen or don't have the capacity to think things through long term, it can screw you. And I think that's what happened. And to make it even matters worse, I understand that Bernie Madoff was essentially kind of involved in all this, not in the actual agreement, but the owners of the Mets at the time utilized some type of company of some sort that invested with Bernie Madoff. So they had this thought that they were going to have this guaranteed double payout money every single year. And this is why it made sense to them. So it's kind of ridiculous that this is what happened, and it all kind of intertwines with the economics. So I don't know. I think it was a little foolish.
Well, let's give the owners a little bit of credit too, Andrew. So back in those times, during the Bernie Madoff things, he was promising double-digit returns. So what the Mets were hoping to do was take that 5.9 million, invest it over a couple years.
Right.
And essentially their goal was to turn that 5.9 million into 50 million. Nobody knew that all this stuff was going on in the background with that Ponzi scheme that Bernie Madoff was running. But like they say, if something sounds too good to be true, it always is. And the Mets should have learned from that, but they've done a lot more dumb things since.
Yeah, and although you're right, like if it sounds too good to be true, you should know better. But human nature is human nature, and we all end up falling for things, especially back then. I mean, the Rolodex of clients that Bernie Madoff had were absolutely genius people, billionaires, multimillionaires. They all fell for it. So I get what you're saying, giving them a break. It's just a little wild to me that occurred. So I don't know. It's just strange.
Yep.
Okay, so speaking of genius, we already talked about Bobby Bonilla's Bonilla or Bonilla. I already forget. Bonilla. Bobby Bonilla's sports agent's absolute genius. We're about to watch another genius move, or maybe it was just all pure luck by the White Sox player Chase. But let's take a look. So Sway, Miguel Vargas, the homie that I like because of his last name, he's on the White Sox. He's batting. He's about to hit the ball. There's someone on first base, and something's about to occur. So take a look at this. Let me know your thoughts. If it's genius or luck.
Let's see it.
High draw thrown and throw down.
Another angle right here. Watch.
Be his 10th stolen base.
No
You see that?
way!
He never tagged him.
All right.
Stop short of the bag to avoid
Yeah.
the tag. What a slide.
Do you think that was pure luck, or was that actually talent where he was able to stop himself from sliding in all the way and then he was able to leap forward again?
I would say sliding is not that easy to do. It looks easy because it looks so smooth and the professionals do it. But if you and I were to do it, we'd walk away with a bunch of raspberries. I think that was all skill. I'm sure he practiced that a million times before, and that's probably why he was so happy afterwards after avoiding that tag and swiping that bag.
Okay. By the way, I could still slide pretty well, I think. So I think I'd be good when I used to play baseball. So
Let's do this for another episode. We'll have like a slide off or something. We'll go to some like dirt field. Both of us will take off and like different screenshots and see who has the best slide. The audience can vote.
Yes, I like that.
Who knows? But it'll be a little like sliding challenge for us.
Thank you. I appreciate that idea. We're going to run that. So now that you said it, you're going to have to stick with this way. So let's see who does a better job. Hopefully we can get different angles. And then if we have more people involved, we can see who gets thrown out by the catcher, like who's a faster runner. So, I mean, you have way more length and depth because of your long limbs, but whatever. So, all right, here's another clip we're going to take a look at. It has to do with my Yankees. Now, I know you're really good at sales, management, and psychological warfare that you go through. What is going on here? Is Anthony Volpe suffering some mental type of situation where he needs to be more confident, or should the Yankees just get rid of the shortstop? Let's take a look. All right, Sway, I'm about to play it. Just know that Anthony Volpe, because I know you don't follow the Yankees like I do, Anthony Volpe happens to have that personality where he's kind of monotone, so he always sounds a little sad. I just need you to know that beforehand.
So in retrospect, do you second guess at all trying to make a play at first to Clement there?
No, not at all.
You thought you had a chance at Clement?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta make that play. Or you gotta make a play on that ball. There today, I'm gonna go for that play every single time, and ball gets knocked down and it's not an error. It's not an error, but I expect to make that play, whether it's in the book or not. So just case by case, and you keep pushing yourself and keep working.
Same thing. You're talking playing third. You threw a third. That was an error.
Yeah, that was an error.
Yeah. That, and then the throw at first base. You thought you had a shot on that play.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your assessment on Anthony Volpe? What's going on here with those two plays and him?
Here's what I think, Andrew. I think Volpe is a great shortstop, has a very bright future. He's a star, and he's a rising star. I think these two situations, he was damned. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If you go back to the first throw and that first clip, when that ball hits first base, that guy's 5 or 6 feet past first base already. So he had no chance. There's probably not a shortstop in the league that would have made that throw and got that runner out. So if you want to go back and maybe freeze frame when that ball hits the glove of the first baseman, watch that runner. I think it was Shaw. He's way far in front of that bag. He probably should have held on to it, but fortunately, like everything that would have happened regardless of who that shortstop was. At least it didn't go into the stands and allow him to take
that'd be bad. Right.
And on the second throw, same situation. Nobody would have made that play. If you take a look like how we caught it, you still have to get up. You still have to get balanced. That runner had all the momentum. He would have been safe regardless. If it was Jeter, if it was Volpe, it doesn't matter. Like it's one of those situations. It sucks. That's him because he's a likable player.
Yeah, he is.
He just has to eat that shit and move on.
Yeah.
And I know there's a little thing on the bottom that says he's had 11 errors in the past whatever amount of games.
Right.
I'm sure that doesn't help his confidence, these two plays, but you got to brush that off. I commend the effort. It sucks, but that's just what happens in sports. Second throw and look where the runner is once that ball was thrown. 0% chance that he can make that play.
Okay. I am actually very surprised with that take. I thought you were going to rip him, but you didn't. And there's a lot of Yankee fans that get upset with Aaron Boone, the manager of the Yankees, because he's so nice to the players when they screw up. And you sound exactly like Aaron Boone. However, I think you have a good point. I didn't really take it from that perspective too much, but It seems like you have your people's back. So am I hearing that when it comes to people under you that you manage, considering your career, are you in the same situation? And do you ever give them crap when they actually screw up? Because it seems like here it was a screw up, but it was kind of one of those situations that would have happened regardless, like you said.
I wouldn't even say it's a screw up. He handled it. He handled it well. The thing is, you can't just beat the shit out of your people when they make a mistake. And in that case, it wasn't his fault.
Okay.
Otherwise, they're going to turn against you. And Aaron Boone, I commend him. I think he's a great manager. What are you supposed to do? Rip your dude apart and then just have like a toxic culture in that clubhouse? He knows better. I think Yankee fans, no matter what happens, they're going to be upset about something.
Sure.
So let them have this. You Yankee fans are too hard to impress.
That's hilarious. Is there a manager out there that you can kind of name off the top of your head that's currently active right now for a team that happens to be that guy that just rips everyone apart and has a toxic, environment? Would it be Alex Cora? Probably not, right?
No, I think that's more old school baseball. You can't really do that anymore. I think especially with millennial players, everyone's a little softer than we were in like the early 2000s, 90s, and before. You can't call them Dutch. You can't do all this crazy stuff. It's like at work. Then HR kind of gets involved, right? You say one thing that might take somebody off, and all hell breaks loose. So I think this is a new way of managing not only in just baseball but sports in general.
I'm surprised, and I think you're right, because I'm not used to this. I think it's great, like being pleasant with the people under you, whether it's an organization or baseball. Like seeing all these baseball coaches be so nice to their players is kind of new to me in a way. Mind you, because I started watching it only 2 years ago recently. But when I was playing baseball in high school and college a little bit, the coaches were dicks, dude. Like absolute dicks. They would treat us like trash, a lot of them. And I guess it's just new to me. So there you go.
Yeah, that's what sports was like growing up for me back then. I remember like in my days, the coach, it wasn't uncommon for a coach to call a player a pussy or a bitch.
Yeah, dude. A bitch. Well, not a bitch, but yeah.
I remember parents were fine with it. If you were to do that now, that coach would be fired quickly.
Yes. I remember I was playing second base for whatever reason, and this was in high school. My coach wanted me to play third, and I didn't want to play third because I knew the ground balls were freaking going to be right directly at me, and they were going to be hard and fast. And at that moment, I was scared of the ball when I was there because he had how you have your team, they kind of watch you take grounders. Well, he knew that I was kind of scared, so he had everyone kind of get close to the third baseline to watch me, and he said, "All right, let's watch Andrew play third base, and if he fucks up, just laugh at him." And that's what they fucking did, dude. And it was horrible. But with all that pressure, I actually got better. But he left me at second either way. But I think he was just doing that to prove a point or just make me a better player and have that thick skin. So I guess it just depends on the individual, right? Who you're giving crap to.
You're probably better for it. Maybe a little stronger than you were.
Yeah. All right, we're almost there now. So we're gonna go talk about one of your what would you call it? A Dodger fan. So your fellow ally, I guess you can call it. I'm curious why he has this attire representing the Dodgers when he's at a wedding. So why the hell is Leonardo DiCaprio wearing a LA Dodger hat at a wedding for Jeff Bezos in Italy?
Here's my take, and this is probably like a funny thing for Leo, is he knows there's going to be pictures taken of him. He's probably just messing with the paparazzi. He's like, hey, you're not going to get free money from me by having me participate in a picture I don't want to be a part of. I'm gonna find a way to ruin this for you. That's what I think is happening. And also, was it supposed to be like secret or something? Like there wasn't supposed to be any paparazzi there?
I think maybe, but it definitely didn't become that. I mean, every single celebrity you can think of, it shows them entering these mini boats or whatever you call those boats in Italy and Venice that they're taking to whatever venue that they're going to for Jeff Bezos. But everyone's face is showing except for Leo's. And Leonardo DiCaprio is always wearing a baseball hat and a mask most of the time when he's out in public trying to get away from paparazzi, like you basically just said here. I actually met him and said hi to him right next to my office in Beverly Hills at a restaurant because he was like lined up along the restaurant. all masked up. This was only like a year ago. His hat was like down all the way. You couldn't see his face, but I recognized him right away. But I'm just thinking like a billionaire's wedding and you still have to wear the hat. Like it's just kind of weird. So that I just wanted to bring that up. And it happens to be an LA hat. So I think he is from LA too.
Yeah. It just sucks to be famous. I'm sure you can't do anything. And then once this podcast gets bigger, we're probably going to have to do the same. So you better get some masks. I have a few Dodger hats for you if you want to do the same.
Okay, maybe to walk in shame. I'm just kidding. All right, we have one more video to watch here. It happens to be someone you hate. Either you hate them more or they hate you more. And we just gotta we gotta give them the ability to give them a pat on the back for what just took place here, because I don't see this happen all the time. So let's take a look.
Wait, is this Nick? I'm just kidding. Nick.
Oh, that's so fucked.
Where you at, Nick?
Popped up. Left side. Machado on the infield lawn. Will let it drop.
Get the speed off the bases, huh? Not a bad call. You get rid of Cruz. You take that speed.
I don't see that very often. What are your thoughts on that? What just took place there?
That should have been an infield fly rule, if I'm not mistaken. Or I don't know if it has to be 2 runners on the base path. I can't talk today. If it's 2 runners on base,
okay.
I would think that's an infield fly rule where the ump should have called that immediately.
I didn't know that was a rule like that.
See some more or have some more context, but that's my first take on that. Or maybe he realized, like, hey, the ump didn't call it. I'm going to find a way to get this guy out. And the reason why he did that was because Ellie De La Cruz is a lot faster than that guy.
And he steals all the time.
I'd rather have the other guy on base than Ellie, who is known to swipe a bag or two.
Right. Yeah, I've seen him, dude. He's fantastic at stealing. But it looked intentional to me, like Manny Machado intentionally. You can, dude. The ball was. He knew where the ball was, and he like basically moved over and let it fall so he could take him out. So I think it was intentional, right? It had to be. It was a tactic by Manny
one of the
Machado.
best third basemen that we've ever seen in our lifetime just drop a ball like that. No way.
Right.
He knew what he was doing. And
okay.
His primary objective is to get Ellie De La Cruz off the base paths. Genius move.
Okay.
He's an absolute dickhead of a player, but he is a great player.
Yeah, we got to give him credit where it's due. That rule though is good to know, and I'm curious why that didn't happen. But maybe, like you said, it had to be 2 people on base versus only 1 on first base with that pop up. So genius move by Manny Machado.
It needs to be 2 runners on base.
Okay. Now, are the Padres really your rival, or is it the Giants? Because it seems like the Padres are making it a thing to hate you guys, and I speak to some people on Twitter about this, and they absolutely hate you guys, but at the same time they think you guys hate them more. So what's the situation here?
Here's my take. I think there's only one rival. The Yankees have the Red Sox, the Dodgers have the Giants, who else? The Mets have the Phillies, and that's it. And that's it, because it's so deep rooted. They've been battling each other for decades.
Right.
The Dodgers don't give a crap at all about the Padres. It's fun to watch. And this is a very new thing. But unless we have this like battle back and forth for the next 20, 30, 40 years, it's always going to be Dodgers and Giants, and that's it in the NL West.
Okay.
On the other end, the Yankees don't give a shit about the Orioles. The Yankees don't give a shit about anyone else. It's all the Red Sox, and it's a very similar situation here. It's fun. I think it's a great mini rivalry, but I can't even say that word and mention
mini.
I can't even say rivalry and Padres in the same sentence.
I'm gonna make sure to tag some of the Padres.
Like you, but at the same time, we don't really think about you. Just like the Dodgers and the Angels thing. Like the Angels have this thing against the Dodgers. The Dodgers, they don't think about the Angels. They're like our little brother. We'll pat you on the head, kick you in the ass, and you get out of here. But it's always just going to be Dodgers and Giants in the NL West.
That's hilarious and true. I agree. Well, this was fun. We'll have to do another one. We'll have Isaiah's come on with you. Maybe I'll join in on that too and make it a thing about the baseball. So Like, comment, subscribe, and share this with your friends. And let's go.
See you soon.